for us all to read. And we will just read one translation at a time. And then we'll go there. Let me first check here if we are good on this. And who just joined us? Do we know?
Chapter 8, what number, Mataji? 12.
Pushpa Mataji.
Pushpa Mataji joined us. Okay, I'll add her name there.
Chapter 8, what number, Mataji? Sukamala Mataji?
12. 12.
Pushpa Mataji. All right. Okay, so I'm putting it there, and I need who is good at typing. I want somebody to take over adding names there, so that we can focus on the class. Somebody willing to volunteer to do
I
that?
can do it, but Mataji, do I have to keep adding all the names and then the last name?
Copy all the names. Yeah, copy.
Yeah.
And then add. Yeah, copy and then add, copy and then add. Yeah, if they start coming too quickly, then you can just add single names also. Just be, yeah. Jyoti, I can add because I already have all the other names in my buffer.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry, I was unable to join. There was something wrong here with the internet.
No problem.
So you added Pushpa and Jyoti
Last 2 days
Mataji, right,
I'm having
Mataji?
problem.
You can read Pushpa and Jyoti.
Jyoti Mataji, you added, right? Or
Yeah.
should I add?
I added them. I added them in our WhatsApp group.
Oh, yeah.
Mataji, Kiran Mataji is there, no?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
she doesn't
it's
want to
okay.
read me there, right?
She can
She
remove
said
it.
just now. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen here and let us get going. And where is my sheet on chapter 8 of the Bhagavad-gita? Okay, share. Can you guys see attending the Supreme?
Yes.
Okay, let's get going.
Chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. Text 1. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the Self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me.
Oh, what happened to mine? Okay. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? And how does he live in the body? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death?
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called a Brahman, and his eternal nature is called ādhāyātmanaḥ, the self, acting pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities. Hare Krishna. I'm number 3.
Text 4. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adhibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called Adhideva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Super Soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Ādhāyātmanaḥ, the Lord of Sacrifice.
Hare Krishna Ji, and whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Hare Krishna Ji.
Hare Krishna. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail.
Hare Krishna ji. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duties of fighting. With your act- activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt.
He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Parth, is sure to reach me.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One who at the time of death fixes his life where between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion may certainly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Text 10. One who at the time of death.
We did that already.
Yes, Mataji, sorry. Text 11. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, entered into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation.
Text 12. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Hare Krishna.
I have to pass. I'm driving. I'm sorry. Can you please continue?
Hare Krishna ji. The yogic situation is that of detachment
We
from all.
did that. We read
Then
that.
we did that.
13.
Oh, sorry. After being situated in the yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letter, if one thinks of Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planet.
O one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service.
After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Hare Krishna.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all the places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Hare Krishna.
Text 17. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together from the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also in the duration of his night.
Hare Krishna. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji, again and again, when Brahma days arrive, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated.
Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is.
that which the Vedantas described as unmanifested and unfallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, the place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. Hare Krishna.
Madhuri, can you bring it up a little?
Yeah.
The Supreme Personality of God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading and everything is situated within him.
Text 23. O best of Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing from this world, the yogi does or does not come back.
Text 24. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, of a waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna ji. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of waning moon, or 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back.
According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns.
Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion.
Hare Krishna, text 28. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Okay, so what is the verse for today?
13.
All
12.
right. 12, 13.
12.
Today is 8.12, I thought.
12, Mataji. I'm sorry. 12.
All righty. 12 it is.
sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya.
Okay, I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya mano hṛdi nirudhya ca mūrdhnya ādhāyātmanaḥ prāṇam āsthito yoga-dhāraṇām. sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya mano hṛdi nirudhya ca mūrdhnya ādhāyātmanaḥ prāṇam āsthito yoga-dhāraṇām. sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya mano hṛdi nirudhya ca mūrdhnya ādhāyātmanaḥ prāṇam āsthito yoga-dhāraṇām. sarva-dvārāṇi, all the body, all the doors of the body. Saṁyamya, controlling. Manaḥ, the mind. Hṛdi, in the heart. Nirudhya, confining. Cha, also. Mūrdhni, on the head. Ādhāya, fixing. ātmanaḥ, of the soul. prāṇam, the
prāṇam.
āsthitaḥ, situated in. yoga-dhāraṇām, the yogic situation. Okay, mūrdhnya, it's a little difficult. Let me see how they are calling it in Hindi.
mūrdhni.
Yeah, mūrdhnya. Yeah, so the mūrdhnya. The N is a little short, mūrdhya, and Tha is also half. Yeah, that's why it's a little difficult. Okay. So mūrdhnya and ādhāyātmanaḥ, not ādhāyātmanaḥ. Ādhāyātmanaḥ. Ādhāya means to fix. So let us see what they are doing here. What Prabhupada is saying, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life hair at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Purport: to practice yoga as suggested here, one first has to close the doors of all sense enjoyment. The practice is called pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses from the same objects. The sense organs for acquiring knowledge, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and touch, should be fully controlled and should not be allowed to engage in sense gratification. In this way, the mind focuses on the supersoul in the heart, and the life force is raised to the top of the head. In the 6th chapter, this process is described in details. But as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. The best process is Krishna consciousness. One is always able to fix his mind on Krishna in devotional service. It is very easy for him to remain in an undisturbed transcendental stage, trance, or in samadhi. Okay, so let us stop here and see. Look for your comments. I think, is there a chat there somewhere? Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Devi Mataji is okay. And Subodhni is also there. All right. Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Hare
Please.
Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Yeah. Go ahead. Anything you read, heard?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I say?
Sure.
Here in the purport, in the first sentence itself, it says that one has to close the doors of all sense enjoyment. This practice is called a pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses from sense objects. So all the 5 senses we have and all the objects of the senses which we use, we have to control over them, and then only we can concentrate and meditate on the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible, because pratyahar means desiring more and more. If eyes are there, you want to see good things, smell nice smell, you want to smell very good things, eating, you want to eat the best, and hearing, you want to hear the music, the best of the musics, you see. So it is, we have to control over that. But when it comes to, you see, listening to hearing, when it comes to hearing, a devotee loves hearing the transcendental sound of the Lord, and then he enjoys it, and that is transcendental. So Mataji, I mean, everything, any sense object, if we convert it into in a transcendental manner, every material thing can be changed into that way. The smell of the flowers offered to the Lord, any perfume using for the Lord, you see, you also, that smell comes, you feel nice. And so I was just thinking that we have to control our senses for our sense enjoyment, but not for the enjoyment of the Lord. But if we control ourselves for our enjoyment, then only it is possible to, you see, be in the samadhi, as said in the last sentence of the purport.
And how difficult is that?
It's very hard.
It is very hard, but for the devotees, in the way we are taught here, it's easy, because if you are in devotional service, it becomes easy. But here the yam niyam, if we follow that, you see, this thing, yam niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, then it becomes difficult, because for us it is not easy to follow that. But devotional service is much easier, Just listen to the God, chant the holy name of the Lord, read the scriptures, listen to the lectures, be in good association, and you will be in samadhi. Hare Krishna.
Nice. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hmm.
So, towards the end of the purport, as we always know that in this Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this Maha Mantra,
Hmm.
and Srila Prabhupada is also saying that just fix your mind on Krishna in devotional service. So that is samadhi, that is the only way. But the very first sentence says, but you have to control your senses. You have to close all the doors. It means even in devotional service, even if the only way is devotional service, chanting, listening Krishna Katha, reading scriptures, eating prasadam, and offering bhoga to Krishna. So all this devotional service, that is the only way to get our ultimate goal, going back to Godhead. But for that, in this purport, I got a condition that we have to close all the doors of our senses. First, we have to control our senses. That is the primary thing, I think. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Any other thoughts? Thank you. Keep sharing.
Hare Krishna Mataji, in this purport itself, Srila Prabhupada is saying, but as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. So that's what he says. It's not very easy to control and close all the doors and mind on the heart and the life or air at the top like that. It's not easy, but Krishna consciousness, the best process is Krishna consciousness. Here Srila Prabhupada is saying. So that means if we just do all the things, ritual things for Krishna, automatically we will be closing our interests in the other senses. So that's what I thought so, Mataji.
Nice.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mhm.
They say that if one is Krishna conscious, it is easy for us to close all the doors of the senses and concentrate on Krishna. So that means if we are into Krishna consciousness, if we are really devoted to Krishna, then Krishna might help us to maintain this closure of all the senses towards the disturbances.
Yeah,
Is it-
that's true.
Nice.
Because we alone cannot do that. We need his blessings, his mercy. Hare Krishna.
Nice. Nice. Any more thoughts?
Mataji, I know it's a very simple way. I will, one thought has come. It is very, very difficult, as one of Mataji has said, difficult to control the senses. But at the same time, when a good smell comes, you enjoy and say thank you to God. Any good food you eat, you say thank you to God. And with the prayer in your heart that let me devote, I have enjoyed, now let me devote my time in devotion. Is that not possible? But slowly and slowly we will able to control the senses, but it is very, very difficult, I find, to control the senses. That is my opinion.
Yeah,
Or
it was
there is
Arjuna's opinion also.
huh?
It's very difficult, Mataji. It's
Very
It was
almost
difficult.
Arjuna's
impossible.
opinion. Yeah, I'm saying it was Arjuna's
It-
opinion also.
Here,
Oh.
Srila
So, for
Prabhupada
example, if
himself
you
is
see a
saying
good
that.
food, how can you control your tongue? You will eat, but at the same time, we should, when you have eaten, at least say thank you to God and say this thing, God, I have eaten good, now let me chant something for this thing. That is what I feel practical for us. But if there is any way how to control without, I mean, say quickly, it requires a lot of practice. Please tell us. Please tell me at least.
I was saying that was a question, that was a comment that Arjuna had also passed in chapter 6, like Anchalamni Mana Krishna Pramati Balvadram. It's very difficult. And in chapter 15, we hear Mame Mancho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana,
Santani Indriyani. What?
Prakirti Sthani Karshati. Mana Shasthani Indriyani. So you have 5 senses. So why we have talked about the 5 senses? Because these 5 senses are gathering, they are Jnanendriya, the knowledge acquiring senses, they are gathering knowledge from the external material environment, right? And so he's saying that all these 5 senses are grouped together around the mind. So these, what this was, sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya, close, mano, hṛdi, nirudhya, right? So this verse is now in chapter 2 of Bhagavad-gita, or 3, I'm forgetting, where there is that hierarchy is mentioned, 3. The lowest of all is the dull matter. Above the dull matter are the senses. Above the senses is the mind. Above the mind is the intelligence. Above the intelligence is the soul. And above the soul is the super soul. Hierarchy within our body. Okay, so mind is above the senses. So it is saying mana shasthani indriyani. Right? Mana, they are.
Mataji, one thing again came into which was in my mind. I said this sense enjoyment is okay, but most important thing is that in a situation we lose temper, we feel jealous if somebody is doing better than me. That is, if we can control that. That mind controlling is more important than this sense control. That is getting away from these bad things.
Okay, that is good. Yam and niyam, right?
Ji.
The do's, right? Internal and external cleansing. Right. Yeah. So it's not just one thing, it's a whole portfolio is there, right? For us to manage. So, right? So to continue on with the thought, so mana shasthani indriyani. So in the translation to that, Prabhupada says that the senses are grouped around the mind. Okay, so it's the mind that generates the thoughts. And then, like, I want to eat a mango, then the eyes will start searching for a mango, right? Or nose will start smelling, is anybody eating a mango around me? So these are knowledge acquiring senses. And so it also says that these are the doors. These are the doors in our body through which we acquire knowledge, right? The eyes, nose, actually the whole body is a door also, because the skin is all over the body. So you acquire knowledge about the environment, whether it is hot, whether it is cold, right? Whether it is coarse, silky, like that texture. So you get all that, you gather all that knowledge, and that knowledge is being presented to the mind. Okay, and so here it's saying that sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya. So you have to close all these doors. So closing all the doors basically is not saying that you literally close your doors, literally close your eyes. And what will you do with your nose? How will you close your nose? You have to breathe, right? Okay. So when they're saying that when you close your eyes, you close your doors, what they're saying is that what are these doors for? These doors are meant for you to acquire the knowledge, to gain that knowledge. And so they're saying you close that door by way of, when I look at a laddu, you stop acquiring that knowledge that, okay, here is an object for my enjoyment. And as one of you said, that instead of doing that, what should we do? We should think of the laddu as an object of enjoyment for Krishna, right? That is a higher level. So you had asked a question what to do, right? So, and that is why we read the Shastra, so that we are philosophically, we get oriented towards doing the right thing. Okay, so the Shastras are telling us that sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya, the yogi has to do that. And in Prabhupada and the sadhu in the purport, which is Srila Prabhupada is telling us, it's difficult to do in this particular age. Okay, for me to control. So what they are basically saying is that, in a sense, in principle, closing all these doors through which you acquire knowledge of sense enjoyment, you close that concept of acquiring knowledge for my own sense enjoyment. And instead, you can still acquire a knowledge from the objects in the material world for purposes of pleasing Krishna. Okay, like for example, if your eyes go and look at a nice basket of ripe mangoes, right? Then we can take those mangoes and then purchase them and offer to them first to the Lord, and then we honor it, right? Now, Mataji, you had also said that this is also one way that I indulge in the mango. And then I say, okay, thank you, Krishna. This mango was very pleasing and you gave it to me. And now I'm going to go and sit and chant. Okay. So that's one way. That's also a way of looking at it, right? Now, it is good to say thank you to Krishna for things that we get. However, we have to remember that when we are saying thank you to Krishna for anything, that is, I'm thanking him because I enjoyed it in most of the cases. It might not be necessarily correct, because sometimes you might be thanking Krishna for helping you build a temple, helping you distribute a Srimad Bhagavatam or whatever, right? Like that. So when we thank Krishna, we have to make sure that that thank was not associated with the fact that I was able to enjoy something. Okay. And then also, when after eating nice prasadam, it is difficult to chant. So it might not happen. We will feel drowsy, right? That's why in the Bhagavad-gita it talks about yukt ahara viharascha, right? So it says that you have to do a balanced thing. You have to eat things in a balanced manner. You have to enjoy things like vihara, idhartarjana in a balanced manner. You also have to sleep in a balanced manner. Not too much sleep, not too little sleep, right? Either cases you have to stay in a balanced manner. So what this is saying is that this verse is saying is sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya mano. So close all the doors. If you close all your eyes, then your thoughts are on Krishna? No. Right? Still the thoughts go here and there. Because why? Because the thoughts are coming from the mind, which is subtle. You just close the door. Right? So this door simile or example is also there in the Bhagavad-gita earlier chapters we read somewhere about senses. One who withdraws his senses, withdrawing the senses. Anybody remember withdrawing the senses? Okay, I will give it to you. It is Bhagavad-gita 2.55. Let me 2.58. Let me bring that up. Yeah, BG 2.58. And then when I bring it up, you'll be like, yeah, I remember now. Because we did it like 3 years ago. Okay, let's look at that.
It's always like that, Mataji.
Yada samharate chayam kurmongyaniva sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyas tasya prajna pratishtata. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is perfectly fixed in perfect consciousness. Right? Remember the tortoise example?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The test of a yogi, devotee, or self-realized soul is that he's able to control the senses according to his plan. Most people, however, are servants of the senses and are thus directed by the dictation of the senses. So that is, Mataji, that's why I was telling you that you're seeing a good mango and then eating it and then saying later on that, okay, I'll pray to you, Krishna. Then we were dictated by our senses. We were dictated by the fact that the eyes conveyed that information. The nice, ripe, juicy mango is there, which is enjoyable. So that is the answer to the question as to how the yogi is situated. The senses are compared to venomous serpents. They want to act very loosely and without restriction. The yogi or the devotee must be very strong to control the serpents like a snake charmer. He never allows them to act independently. That's why manaḥ shastani indriyani, all these senses are under the control of the mind. So if you control the mind, then the senses will be automatically controlled. So there are many injunctions in the revealed scriptures. Some of them are do nots and some of them are do's. Unless one is able to follow the do's and don'ts, restricting oneself from the sense enjoyment, it is not possible to be firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. The best example set herein is the tortoise. The tortoise can at any moment wind up its senses and exhibit them again at any time for particular purposes. Similarly, the senses of the Krishna conscious persons are used only for some particular purpose in the service of the Lord and are withdrawn otherwise. Arjuna is being taught here to use his senses for the service of the Lord instead of his own sense gratification. Keeping the senses always in the service of the Lord is the example set by the analogy of the tortoise who keeps the senses within. Was I sharing this? Yeah. Were you seeing this as I was sharing?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, Mother.
Somehow the outside frame went away. Yeah. So the key word that is coming out from here is that you have to control your senses, use them in the service of Krishna, and then withdraw them, right? But the problem is that, how do I control the senses? How do you said that, you may say that you said that, okay, close these doors basically doesn't mean that literally you are closing the doors, but you are filtering what is coming in through the door inside your home, right? So, interesting thing. It's some same Bhagavad-gita 2.59 is the one which says, Vishaya vinivarhante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. What does that mean? He says, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment. So here this verse is saying that you close your eyes, close your doors. Don't let things in. The taste for sense object remains. And who is having this taste? The taste for sense objects. Who has this taste?
We.
Yeah. And who is we? The
Soul.
The soul.
Correct, right? So the soul has got that taste. That's why the soul is here. And that is why the soul has been given this body and all the material sense organs so that it can assess information about the material world around and then enjoy or try to enjoy. Okay? So then how do I restrain my senses? Here's the answer. Ceasing such engagements. How do I restrict my senses? By experiencing a higher taste. He is fixed in consciousness. So you have to, how do I get rid of the senses? How do I get rid of the sense of enjoyment, enjoying things that I see around myself? You focus on enjoying something better. For example, if I just want to see beautiful ladies or handsome men, pictures of them on internet, then instead of doing that, you start seeing pictures of Radha and Krishna. Because seeing pictures of Radha and Krishna versus seeing pictures of a famous movie star, the difference is manifold. Many-fold, right? And the consequences are also very different from indulging in this versus indulging in that. Yet also Prabhupada is saying that unless one is transcendentally situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain types of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for eatables. Like if somebody likes to eat sour thing, imli, and the doctor says don't eat anything which is sour. So I will not eat anything that is sour. That is fine, but I still like sour things, right? So, and this restriction that the doctor is putting, I'm not liking it. So similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the matter of yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, etc. is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually, hold on, so many screens have come on top of my thing. I don't know what this is doing. But one who has tasted the beauty of Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things, right? Automatically loses his taste for pale things. So you will notice that you would have noticed in your life also, right? We come into Krishna consciousness. Some of us were eating meat, some of us were eating onions, garlic, and all that. And then a few years later, or a year later, or a few months later, we are talking to somebody else in the temple and we are saying, I do not even know how onions went away, how the garlic went away from our life.
Yes, Mataji, that is true. I used to drink 11, 12 cups of tea in a day. And in one go, Mataji, after that, I never felt the need of tea.
Yeah, right? So this is what happens when you focus your attention on Krishna. You have gotten a higher taste. So when you get a higher taste, the lower taste automatically goes away. So, and the lower taste is my own sense gratification versus doing things for Krishna. And so, and you'll be very surprised that when it is Krishna's birthday.
Janmashtami.
Yeah. So when it is fasting time, right? You're fasting. You fast because Krishna's birth. Krishna's happy to see me trying to control my senses. I'm going to do it for Krishna, right? So why? Because that's a higher taste. So once you acquire a higher taste, the lower taste will automatically go away. Automatically, you'll give up the lower things, right? So now here again, going back again, sarva-dvārāṇi saṁyamya mano hṛdi nirudhya. Okay, hṛdi means what? What is hṛdi? Heart, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's saying that focus your mind on your heart. Now, when they are saying focus the mind on the heart, it doesn't mean the biological heart that pumps the blood. Okay. So we have the spiritual heart, which we say is the location where Krishna is and the soul generally is there. Otherwise, soul also floats around the whole body. Okay. So here he is saying that focusing on the heart basically is that you focus on the things which are in the heart. You focus on the soul first, right? And basically what that means is that instead of going and getting connected to things which are outside the world, outside of ourselves, everything is material, right? So instead of focusing on things which are material, you focus in your heart where the soul is. So you focus on things which are transcendental. So when you get a transcendental thing, and so now if you go back to the case of the tortoise, so what the tortoise does is that, kurmangiva, anga iva, right? So what it does is it takes out its limbs for a momentary time, whatever times it wants, and then it will withdraw back. Similarly, I will also do that, right? I need to sustain, I need to live, I need to eat food. Devotional service doesn't mean that you don't have to eat anything, right? And so we will do that. We will come out and we do it, but again, then we will go back to what our normal situation is. Now, what exactly is our normal situation? Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. That, for example, I'm sitting here, I'm talking, I'm not angry with anybody. Okay, this is my normal state, right? Most of us have got as the normal state. Most of us, right? And suddenly somebody does something, right? Irritates me, or the child does something, or spouse does something, and then you retaliate. Okay, so you were here, and then you suddenly go up, like anger spikes on me, right? Okay, right? Something shoots, and then I have a choice. I can stay in that angry mood forever, or I can withdraw and come back to my common sense. For example, if I'm sitting on a sofa and I'm reading the Bhagavad-gita, and a child, the son or daughter, comes in, is doing something wrong. So you might turn around, scold them, and then you come back and you start reading a Bhagavad-gita. You're completely normal. Okay? So the idea here is that we need to stay in our normal state. And what is our normal state? What is the state in which we have been wired by Krishna? What has Krishna made us to do normally? What did he design us to do?
He gives us intelligence and forgetfulness. And
Listen to the question. What has Krishna wired us to do?
To do
What is
devotional
Krishna
service, Mother.
to do devotional service,
devotional
right?
service.
So doing devotional service is your normal condition, is your normal situation. Okay. Now what happens in most of the cases is that we are doing 24 hours of the day. After 24 hours of the day, we are doing for 23 hours and 55 minutes. 23 hours, 55 minutes. We are doing all this nonsense, right? Related to our body, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's what we are doing. And then for 5 minutes, we will think of Krishna. And those are very painful 5 minutes because we want to come back to our situation, right? But when you do mano, hṛdi, nirudhya, so he's saying, no, you focus your mind on your soul, right? So when you start focusing your mind on your soul, it's not that you will stop doing other things. Like a tortoise, you will still extend your senses, go touch the sense objects only as much as it is needed, right? So you will move from a person who's come constantly in sense enjoyment and spends a little time in Krishna consciousness to you'll become someone who is doing Krishna consciousness most of the times, and you just come and do a little bit of the worldly activities because you have to maintain the body and the soul together, right? So mano hṛdi nirudhya mūrdhnya ādhāyātmanaḥ sthanam, right? So what happens that your consciousness, right? The consciousness, your consciousness has to rise itself, right? And so when the consciousness, remember I was talking about, I don't know where I was talking about, but the consciousness can be in various stages. There are chakras in your body, right? And so the consciousness is the lower the position in the body, the lower is the consciousness. The higher is the position of the consciousness in the body, the higher is the consciousness, the better is the consciousness, right? So lower consciousness is more material, higher is more spiritual. And mūrdhni ādhāyātmanaḥ, you put it on the top of your head. So when your consciousness is reaching that right? Āsthito yoga-dhāraṇām. Okay, so when we talk about Ashtanga Yoga, and this chapter is talking about yoga, but every now and then Srila Prabhupada, to make sure that we do not deviate and drop the Bhagavad-gita and sit down and start doing, the Ashtangas. So he's constantly reminding all of us that devotional service is the best way to do and the only way to do in this yuga for us, right? So when we talk about yam and niyam, so there are do's and don'ts. People call them do's and don'ts, but they're more like, external things versus internal things, cleansing. And Mataji, you also said that in addition to this and that, I also have got negative thoughts about it. There is jealousy and all that stuff, right? Anger. I also need to control that, right? So that is internal cleansing that you do. We also need to read scriptures, adhyatma and all that. So yam and niyam are there. Then we do pranayam, right? Pranayam is that you learn how to breathe things properly. And you know why we learn how to breathe properly? Because your mind operates on the breath that you give. The food for the mind is the breath that you have. So then that's why you do pranayam. Then what to do? Yam, niyam. Asana is the yoga posture. Pranayam is, so yoga posture is basically to keep a still body. And then inside the still body, your mind can also still agitate, right? So you learn how to breathe properly so that the mind also becomes a little bit calm. Then is the fifth stage, which is what we are talking today, pratyahara. Pratyahara is you are withdrawing your senses. Okay. Then
Dharana.
Dharana, and then
Dhyan.
And then
samadhi.
Right? So dharana means to fix. Okay. So to fix something here is dharana. And you remember when we were in India, and some of you are there, when there is a strike. So people say, Mukhyamantri ke office ke bahar dharana di. Right? Kya kara dharana di? Baith gaye wahan jaake na, hile nahi jab tak lathi nahi padi. The police has to disperse. I'm sitting here. I'm firm here. This is my thing. Listen to my petition. I won't move. Okay? That is dharana. So similarly, in the Ashtanga Yoga, the dharana is when you are fixing your consciousness in one of the chakras that are there in your body. Okay, so that is dharana. And dhyan, so dharana is I kept my consciousness at that level, good consciousness, right? But dhyan is when you now start focusing on God, Krishna, like that. Okay, and then of course there's samadhi when you are thinking of nothing else but then samadhi. Okay? So when we
dhyan is also meditating on God.
Yes.
And samadhi is also the same.
Constant, yeah. Samadhi is no breakages. Only Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. It's a higher level. Dhyan is you're focusing. Samadhi is completely there. Right?
Completely absorbed. Like.
Absorbed. Completely absorbed samadhi. Right? So then for the yogi, what happens is that they do all this and they have their consciousness here. And then in the subsequent chapters, in the subsequent verses, he's talking about how the soul and the consciousness, when it is at this level, how will it leave the body from here? Okay? When it leaves the body from here, it goes and goes where? Depends on what you were thinking about. Kis pe dhyan lagaya tha? On what were you concentrating? Now, some people are they're doing the whole practice, but they don't believe in any features of the Lord. Right? They don't believe in any features of the Lord, but they are still doing meditation. Where do they go? I will tell you. Bhagavatam tells what happens to them. Okay? So let me bring, this is from the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. Yene Arvindaksha.
Mataji, one small question concerning this, what we have stopped. Yeah. Mataji, one of my friends, she is very fond of eating non-veg. And she says that I just cannot control myself from this. How to guide and how to, tell her not to do so.
Nothing. Tell her to, you take prasadam to her and tell her to eat that also. That's all. Okay. Let the prasadam do the work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right? Let the prasadam do the work. And also remember, everybody is on their own physical, on their own spiritual journey. And some people might just take a leap and then move forward. Some people might still take a longer time, and that's okay. And so when we are preaching and we are trying to tell people and bring people to Krishna consciousness, we also have to remember that not to focus. Karmarnevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So if some person is taking a very long time, that is Krishna's plan. So we should be surrendered in ourselves on the plan of Krishna. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what Prabhupada did, right? So it happens. It happens. Prasadam has its effect, right? So use that. We are a kitchen religion. Yene ravindaksha vimukta maninas tvayasta bhavat avishuddha buddhayaha aruhya kritchena parampadam tataha patantyadhonadita yushmadangrayaha. So here, Lord Brahma is saying, O lotus-eyed Lord, Arvindaksha, right? O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotees who accept severe austerities and penances, they are doing yam, niyam, asana, everything to achieve the highest position, may think themselves liberated. Vimukta maninas. They think that they are liberated. Their intelligence is impure. They fall down from their position of imagined superiority because they have no regard for your lotus feet. They have not developed that higher taste. They have not focused on the lotus feet of Krishna. So when we are doing our dhyana and we are doing your dharana, right? We have come to that stage of purification. Then where is the dhyan? That is important. Dhyan should go on the Arvindaksha, the lotus-eyed Lord. Okay? Yam yamapi smaran bhavam tajyatante kalevaram tam tam evati konteya sada tad bhavadhavita. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samad bhavam nati ya yati nasyastra sanchayaha. So at the time of death, if somebody quits his body remembering Krishna, then he will get the qualities of Krishna. There is no doubt. that person will be liberated. And that is real mukti. And real mukti is called vimukti. Other muktis that the other people are doing by just focusing and not thinking, but not bringing in the positive, which is the Krishna in it, they will fall down because soul is wired to do devotional service. So even if they reach that state, sometimes they'll get bored, not knowing anything, they'll come down. And by the blessings of some devotee, they'll be exposed to Krishna consciousness. Somebody will give them prasad, they will be exposed to Krishna's consciousness. Somebody is going to give them a book and they'll be exposed to Krishna consciousness, like that. Right? So I'll stop here. It's 7 o'clock. Time for Sutapat to sleep. I'm just kidding. And opening up for a few minutes of questions or reflections.
Yes, Mataji, I will leave. It's not sleeping.
Eating. No, she doesn't eat dinner till this late. She has the class.
Okay, Mata. Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare.
Nice, Mother. Very nice.
Yeah,
So what are you
lot to
doing?
learn today. Lot to learn.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Haribol.
What about we eat delicious prasadam more? How to control that? We are not eating out. We don't eat extra
Yeah.
stuff. But we eat delicious prasadam.
Yes. You can be conscious. You can make a vow. And one of the ways of how to eat, not eat too much of the delicious prasadam, you have to slowly wean yourself away. For example, halwa is very nice.
Yes, iskon halwa is very tasty.
Very tasty, right?
Yes.
And the people are generous, those who are offering prasadam, distributing prasadam, and you say, okay, put one more spoon.
Yes, I do that, Mataji.
Yeah, not spoon, ladle.
And sometimes if they have extra, we bring the glass and say, Prabhuji, give some here.
Yeah, do that, right?
Yes,
And
Padhi sabji.
so we do
Paneer
that,
sabji.
right? So start slowly. Start slowly, right? Even if your mind at that time is saying that, okay, let me take a glass, right? Let me take a glass. And somebody told something very nice, Ayurveda. They were saying that if you think that you can eat one more chapati, don't eat it. If you think you can take 2 more chapatis, take half a chapati. If you think you can eat 3 more chapatis, then take 1 chapati.
Yeah.
Right?
Also,
Because
they say, Mataji, that when you get up from the table, you should have
Be
your
a little
stomach
bit
like
hungry.
almost
Yeah.
half empty or like half full,
Half empty.
whatever.
Yeah,
Half empty. Yeah.
But the thing is, how do I even know my stomach is half empty? When the thing is on the tongue, who's thinking about the stomach?
No,
Yes,
but when
Mataji,
you
yes.
want to eat more, just stop it there.
Right. Yeah.
That's what my husband used to do.
And it takes willpower. It takes the association of others who are like that. Another thing that you can do is, see, our tongue has got taste buds, right? A tongue is a knowledge acquiring sense organ. It acquires salty, mirchi,
Yeah.
like that.
Sweet.
It's acquiring that knowledge. And when that knowledge is going to the mind, and then through the mind to the soul is thinking, oh, I am this body, and then enjoys it, right? That's how the enjoyment happens, right? So when one of the things is, take a smaller spoon than a bigger spoon. That is one way. So at one time less will go, and then chew it slowly. So
chew it slowly. Yeah.
What happens is that because the food is not in contact with the tongue for a sufficient amount of time, or even a sufficient surface of the tongue gets touches the food, so the knowledge that your tongue would have acquired is not enough because the contact was so little. Right? For example, if you take a thermometer and put in somebody's body and take it out, the temperature doesn't show properly. The thermometer has to be in the mouth for some time for the thermometer to acknowledge all the knowledge about the temperature inside the body, and then it shoots up and tells you, right? So similarly here also, you let the food be in the contact with your tongue for a longer time. And how will that happen? If you chew it, if you eat slowly, right? So it is all about acquiring the knowledge that the soul is going to be happy, right? So if with one piece of barfi, you kept it in your mouth, you chewed it very slowly, the soul got the same amount of experience as if you gulp down 10 pieces of barfi.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Right? So eat slowly, like that. Okay? Pause and put your spoon down in between, this. You put it in the mouth, put the spoon down, chew it slowly. You'll be very surprised at how
You get tired, Madan. You want to get up and go.
yeah,
That
right.
is what is required.
Yeah, ye chabana hai
Best
kabhi.
way is to go and get up and brush your teeth. That helps you a lot.
Yes, that's a very good habit. Brush your teeth and
Mind
your
won't
teeth,
listen. She won't want to
immediately
get
you
up.
have changed your attention from the food.
yes, change the attention from the food, and then it's always like abhi daant saaf kar liya, ab need karna, dobara daant
अब
nahi saaf
कौन खाएगा?
ab kya khayenge?
तब तो
It's a
touching
very
it.
good thing. Yes, it's a very good habit to immediately brush your teeth after that. Yeah, but the mind will tell you kya ek baar aur kar lenge, koi baat nahi.
But
नहीं,
माताजी
but in the
आलस आ
temple there
जाता
is
है ना
no
तो नहीं
brushing.
करते हैं.
Huh?
10 times में 9 times you will not think
That's
of
fine.
brushing again.
Right. You're right.
One odd time you may do it. This is, depending on your own experience.
Depends on your own
No,
experience.
I am very regular.
Depending on what is enticing you also.
Yeah.
Right? You might not want to eat one more roti, but if ice cream is there, mind might also tell you there's no need to wash the mouth after ice cream. Mind can tell you anything like that there. Yeah. So
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, I never decided on leaving non-veg or anything of that kind. I never decided on anything. But
there you go.
from last so many, after I joined this, slowly I find that I feel I will not have non-veg, otherwise I will regret. So for the fear of regret, I do not touch it. I don't know why.
Fear of what?
Very good. Very good.
And I will regret after thinking why I have eaten an animal, why I have killed an animal, like that. Those kind of things that started coming. Earlier it was not.
Right. And this can come from a very good example, because I'm going to tie it to the Ashtanga Yoga. A very good example, because this is an example of a raised consciousness.
Yeah.
Right. And how did the consciousness get raised? Did she do Ashtanga Yoga? Probably not. And this is how devotional service raises your consciousness. So it's not that the devotees the consciousness of a devotee is not here or not here, it will rise itself. And
because
that's
I come from a family where we had our own fowl and everything. We had to slaughter them and then eat. And I used to enjoy. I never felt, I said, once it's on the table, who's bothered how it is killed and whatever. Anyway, now I don't know. I always feel, no, I must not eat. I must not look at the meat shop. I don't know why.
Yeah, because you have developed a higher taste.
You
have developed a higher taste. This is what 2.59 was saying. If somebody at that time would have told you, like 1 year ago, to give up food, give up meat, you wouldn't have.
Yeah. And nobody asked me to give up. But that, I'm like declining from that. I don't know. Not that I know too much about this Krishna consciousness or something. I know very little. But these kind of things, yes, they have started.
Yes, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to think yourself as a half-empty vessel when it comes to knowledge, because only when we think that we are half empty will we allow more knowledge to be poured into ourselves. If you think that we have all the knowledge, then we won't listen to anything.
Right.
Yeah. Nice reflections. Right. So the beauty is that that Srila Prabhupada constantly weans us away from the allure of I'm going to do something so exotic. What are you doing? Ashtanga Yoga. It sounds very nice. All the pieces of the Ashtanga Yoga will happen when you're doing devotional service. Pranayam. Pranayam happens when you recite verses from Bhagavad-gita and Bhagavatam. They are written in such a way that breath control automatically happens. Asana happens when you sit down to do deity worship. This will happen. When you're reading a Bhagavad-gita, you'll be sitting so still because you're so engrossed in the subject matter that you will not move like that. So, all right, should we call it a day here? Then? Yes. or-
Okay, if you say so.
Oh, that's true.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I
Hare
love
Krishna
the
Mataji.
class.
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna,
much.
Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna,
Shraddha
everybody.
Mataji, as
Thank you so
always.
much.
Pranam.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mataji.
Dandat Pranam.
Kapatitanam
Thank you. Then I'll
Vaishnave
try
Pyo Namo
to
Namah.
be half
Oh,
empty
Gaur
when I eat.
Premanande, Hari
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 Bol.
Bol.
see, you
Bol.
develop a higher taste and a higher and a higher and a higher
No,
taste.
I'll keep
Thank
my
you.
stomach halfway empty. And then I'll think of Shraddha Mataji. Then I can keep it halfway empty.
Okay, good. I'll ask you.